Hey, hey,
All right, here we are. Happy New Year.
hey, man. I got headphones on.
Nice. Yeah,
Yep.
because we're doing this a little bit different today. You might tell by the angle of my camera um, that we are to do live stream. We have to do this a little bit of a different way. So we're going through the YouTube mobile app in order to make this happen. So um, in the future, we'll find different end arounds, different technology, different methods of doing this that will hopefully get us back to our looking more like the show.
This looks fine.
You think
There's
so?
nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with this.
I've got it tuned in on through a different account, watching it, kind of seeing it. So um, I can't do anything like respond to chats or anything. Um, it looks a little grainy for some reason, but oh well. This is our first time doing a live stream. It is our New Year's Eve special, and my glasses are completely dirty.
Oh, you should have been prepared, Levi. I cleaned.
Oh, dude.
I cleaned mine just before we jumped on. So
And I
unprofessional. Oh my God.
do you remember me telling you about like my new ring light, and I had that adapter to hold your phone, and I
Yeah.
struggled and struggled to take it off.
Yeah.
Well, I finally got it off, and then this afternoon I put it back on because
Yeah.
of this reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's funny.
I know how to navigate that now, so that
Yeah.
no big deal. It'll come right off when I want it to.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny because like I've got it on mine, and I was like, I'm never gonna use this thing, but I just kept it there because I'm lazy, and now I'm using it. So
Well, this one gets in the way of my other camera, and
yeah,
um, just with all these my drawing table, I've got to figure out a new setup. But it looks like General Grievous, if you got them from Wish.
yeah,
There's like four boom arms, with the mic,
yeah,
with my main actual camera, the ring light, my lamp, which the ring light might be able to take the place of altogether. I don't know, but I'll
yeah,
figure it out. This is all stuff that we're gonna tackle as we proceed into the new year.
yeah, yeah. I'm excited. Are you excited for the new year?
I guess, new year, new me,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
You know how it goes. We try hard. There's big plans being brewed inside the house. I just came from there, and yeah, there are big plans being made.
Yeah,
Involving sugar and involving this and involving that. I'm like, okay, just tell me what to do, and I guess I'll do it.
yeah. I think there's something really good about uh New Year's resolutions to where you like I think it really puts you in a frame of mind to
Yeah.
to go after something. Even if you fail, which I think
Hmm.
that's kind of the joke is like most people fail at their New Year's resolution and stuff like that.
Right.
But at least for that glimmer of the first week of January, you're going after it, and I think there's something good about that. I think it puts a little pep in your step, I guess, trying to
Yeah.
to to get that energy and stuff like that. I talk a lot about, where like I interact so much better with challenges, where it's like, okay, I want to do a page every day, or I want to
Hmm.
do, this many pages in an hour or whatever, whatever I'm doing. And there's something about that that challenge that really keeps me going. Now, if I reach that challenge, there's a lot of times where I go, "Yeah, all right, I did that, and now it's like I'm looking for another one, you know.
Yeah,
So,
but
uh,
it's it's like it goes up steps. When you meet a challenge and you find yourself ready to take on the next one,
yeah,
it's an upwards trend. It's not a downwards trend. Or a or a flat line or whatever.
right,
um it is very good. And yeah, we're I've got plans for myself. We can talk about that as we get into this show and this conversation. uh and some of them are definitely around the comics and the art and the challenges of increasing production, maintaining quality, and several of them are also pretty personal for me.
yeah. So, what are your personal ones now?
Well, I mean, personal. I mean, around myself, not secrets, not like there are things that I just got to get out of my life that no one can know about.
I'm gonna finally stop watching porn every day. It's gotten to be a problem, and today it's the last day. It's the last day.
Just one more time,
Just
you
one more
know.
time. I mean, after I get off of here, I'm straight to Pornhub.
Yeah,
But
11:45 to midnight.
I, well, all right. So let's because in true comics in the making fashion, we haven't planned this at all.
No,
Uh,
we didn't even pregame.
no,
I mean,
no.
we usually talk on the phone before and
We
after a
we
shoot.
literally we had a 2 minute fake live to see if we could make this work, and we were like, yeah, let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
Uh, so uh, so Levi, what we you know what we can take turns because maybe we have several different uh resolutions for this year when it comes to our cartooning and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Uh, what's your first one? What's your like? Okay, this is this is what I want to happen.
Well, one of them I've already started on. I'm pretty glad to be able to say I've got about a week's worth of repetition on this one, and it is to just doodle something every day, right?
Yeah,
Um, I work on my comics most every day, but that's where I'm sitting down, the serious hats on, you know, oh, I'm inking and I'm going to be doing stuff and I'm going to be doing all kinds of things. I've got a plan I'm following, yada yada.
yeah,
Um, very very structured utilitarian, kind of plans. What I don't do is just sit down and doodle, improve skills, explore things, get thoughts on paper, have fun. And that's something that I'm going to strive to do some kind of doodling every day.
yeah. I think that's good. You know, I get so many stories just from doodling.
Mhm.
I'll just draw some sort of weird monster or some kind of device or some shit like whatever, and and then I go, oh, how am I going to use this in
Yeah.
something? I think that's something for me. Like when people talk about sketching and doodling, that's not something I really do a
Hmm.
whole lot because I draw so much trying to do comics. So
Yeah.
uh, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love drawing, but I don't. I'm not an actual compulsive drawer. I am not someone who has to like draw every minute of every day. I'm not an art crumb, you know. Uh, all right, guy. I see. All right. Hello to my daughter. Hello, Nathan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Hi.
we're on the phones. It's harder to manipulate the chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
guess we
see.
can respond to it. We can acknowledge
Yeah.
without typing.
No, I'm not typing a goddamn thing. Hi. How's it going? If I touch this phone at all, it's balancing on a pile of books and a cheap Walgreens ring light, and if I move it at all, it's everywhere. We didn't do weather report yet. Okay. So today was beautiful. It was, what was it? 53 degrees,
Yeah,
sunny. I skateboarded today with my daughter.
nice.
She got a skateboard for Christmas. Uh, it's funny. I got her. She said she wanted to learn, and we were at Walmart, and they had like a cheap, like $11 uh, cruiser board,
Hmm.
and I said, "Well, I will buy you this to see if you're committed to it."
Yeah,
And she really liked it. So for Christmas, I got her well, actually, technically, my mom did, but we got her a girl skateboard. Uh, for the skateboard enthusiasts out there, girl is, or the non-skateboard enthusiasts, that girl is
yeah,
the company.
yeah.
Uh, and they have a Hello Kitty line. So I got her a Mike Carroll Hello Kitty
Nice.
board. But man, we were skating it today, and it came with these like real skinny wheels, and our road's kind of rough,
Hmm.
and like dude, I could barely push on it. So I took the wheels off of her cheap $11 uh board from Walmart, and I put it on the girl board because they were real wide. They're like 60
Yeah,
millimeter wheels, and dude, it made such a world of difference.
nice.
Uh, but anyway, yeah, weather's great. It's great. It's great. Carolina, late December, uh, winter weather.
Yeah,
Can't complain.
typical. Yeah, typical.
Yeah,
Winter. Christmas season, New Year's, and in
yeah,
the Carolina Piedmont for sure.
yeah.
Um,
But
Colder than it was for Christmas. It's colder now than it was for
it
Christmas.
is. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, so no, I think doodling every day. I think just it can inspire so much when it comes to storytelling. You know, and
Hmm.
I'll be honest, I can't think of the last time I doodled or sketched to get better at something. And
Yeah.
I know that's like, I see these people on Instagram and shit, and they're like, I I want to get better at drawing hands, and they draw
Hmm.
like 100 fucking hands, and I mean, that's great. I probably should do that. Uh, but that's not me. I've always gotten better at art from drawing nonstop comics.
Yeah.
You know. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I see this. I follow people, and a lot of them are pros or whatever, and that might be the difference. But you'll see they'll share, on social media. Oh, I was practicing with like emoting. I drew 6 different characters emoting this, all doing surprise in their own way, or or the same character with the spectrum of emotions.
yeah,
And that's good, and I've done a little bit of that myself, with one of my little characters. But sometimes I'm also kind of like, wow, nice flex. You got you know the limited time I have to do the stuff. It's either am I going to spend a couple hours doing that, or am I going to try to get a whole page done?
I,
Um,
I'll tell you what,
it's a choice.
the whole warm up sketch pictures that you see, it's a myth. It's fucking bullshit. That's what it is. There's nobody. I mean, I guess maybe people do, but when I see these warm up sketches online, it's like this highly rendered
Yeah.
fucking dragon and shit, and I'm just like, no, come on, just tell me you drew it. You spent half a fucking day on this, and and if this is an actual warm up sketch, start fucking working, dude. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of like, here's my warm up sketch. Took me all day to do it. Now I'm tired. I'm gonna have a sandwich. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. It's just I've I've never had to warm up drawing. I've just never had. So maybe I'm different. I've never had to do that.
I had that, I put it on my Instagram or whatever, that Yacha, Predator I did, and I called
Yeah,
it a warm up. I called it a warm up, but what I
you're
mean by
part of the
that,
problem.
what I mean by that is I would do a little bit of it just to get
Yeah,
started, just to get my
yeah,
equipment set up. I did that with the tablet, so I was trying to like get more, familiarized with Clip Studio and working with my tablet. So I
yeah,
do a little bit with it, and then
yeah.
I'd go on to what I was doing. So that's what I meant by warm up in that case.
And I was talking about you on that whole rant. That was
Yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was all. I'm tired of your fucking warm up sketches, Levi.
Because that was such highly rendered. I had so many gradients and alpha channels and shit like
Yeah.
that. Um,
Yeah, no, and for me though, it's just like when I want to get better, I just want to go straight in. I just want to start working, you
well,
know.
some people draw like a dozen hands.
Yeah.
They'll have a piece of paper, they'll draw a dozen hands. I draw a dozen hands when I have my character on my page, and I'm trying to figure out what is that hand supposed to look like, and I end up having
Yeah.
to redraw it 12 times.
Yeah,
You know.
right. Yeah. Uh I just use AI now, I just go into AI and I go draw a hand and and it just does it and I'm like, "Oh, good." Uh I don't here's my warm up AI sketch today.
Right.
Uh
Yeah, yeah. That's the next thing we'll be seeing.
Here's a yeah, here's a sentence I typed into a prompt. Uh it's my warm
Yeah.
up. Just wait. Just wait till later today when I really type in some prompts. Just wait. It's gonna be it's gonna be fucking mind blowing.
Yeah, I've spent
So
all morning coming up with prompts. I'm tired. I'm getting a sandwich.
yeah. Yeah. Fuck, I'm eating a sandwich and typing in prompts. I don't
Hey, hey, guy
Oh
running.
man, I got crumbs all over this keyboard. All over the
big
place.
big blob of mayonnaise right there on the space bar, all over the trackpad.
So all right. So you want to sketch like every day.
I want to fill more of my time,
Yeah.
drawing something, and
Yeah.
I think the best place for me to do that's at work. Um,
Oh,
on break,
yeah. Yeah.
just and that's what I've been doing.
Oh, I mean, I'd do it when you're supposed to be working. That's
I don't have that kind of job.
oh, all right.
it'd be
Wait.
it'd be real tough.
Yeah. Are you going to be posting those online, like on
um,
social media and stuff
my
like
little
that?
my little sketchy guys.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like this is online, so I'll go ahead and do this now. I had this character that I came up with a long time ago, sort of a children's book character, this pirate. And here's the original like drawing if it shows up.
Oh,
So
sweet.
that's Captain
Yeah.
Steve,
Yeah.
right? And so
He's
his deal
he's
is
missing some appendages.
classic pirate,
Yeah.
and the whole crux of the book is that even though he's a little bit different, he can still do the pirate stuff that he wants to. He can still, you know, live a good life. And I wrote that. What are you laughing
I'm
at?
sorry. I just- like
It's a
like a
children's
real part.
book.
No, I know. But I can still rape and pillage, no problem, without my
I
arm and
never
my
that
leg.
never that
Not a.
never even
I'm doing.
crossed.
I'm doing great.
Uh,
You see that
it's
ship over there? We're gonna steal everything on there.
come on. It's a children's book fun pirate.
No, I know. He's
He,
he's
Nathan
half a
says he's
man.
half a man. He's half the man he used to be.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing, it's and we had a good friend who worked at the ice rink, and she was dating and I married one of the captains of the USA, sled hockey team.
Oh,
And
okay.
most of those guys are para or quadriplegic,
Uh-huh.
amputees. A lot of them are veterans.
Yeah.
And so I actually ran it by them. Said, "Hey, here's my concept for a children's book. I want to make sure I'm not coming from a weird place, but it's just
Yeah.
showing how he's a little bit different, but he can still, he can still, slide down the mainsail. He can still, walk the plank, and of course they're all swimming, doing a dive and thing. I can still, do the buried treasure thing. Like,
Yeah.
um,
I think it's
and
cool.
and they said,
Yeah.
yeah, it's totally fine. You need to do it. I didn't. I didn't for years. It's just been on that back burner. So I revisited it and just started making doodles at work. So
Yeah.
and there are some of those characterizations, some of the emotes. Trying to get the feel for how the guy moves. All the character design stuff that we just
Yeah.
talk crap about. you
No, I
know,
love I love how his body in that picture you just showed, it's a circle.
yeah, yeah,
Uh
pretty much.
and I think that works really good. I really like it a lot.
Well, cool, thanks. And it's kind of easy to like get him in different positions, even though,
Yeah.
um, so a little bit of a departure from the original, and there's still some tooling to be done, maybe, but
Yeah.
yeah, Captain Steve is something I'm going to work on alongside the big, and like you mentioned, challenges. Um, you know, you know, doing the big, which is a little ambitious for me, I guess. Writing, doing all the art, the digital finishing for what is meant to be on the shelf as what we traditionally know as a comic book, and then this one here with the little pirate guy, for a children's book. So it'll have a complete different look. Kind of the classic, one illustration per page type
Yeah.
of type of deal. But I want to. Those are two things I want to have for the new year. I mean, the first issue of the big is forthcoming, and then subsequent issues, and I got to start understanding my pacing and getting my work uh, tailored around meeting the milestones that I think I need to have to get issue 2 out, issue 3 out, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. What's your goal for issue 2? I mean, I know issue 1, you're gonna do a Kickstarter and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, do you have like a goal in mind for okay, once the Kickstarter for 1 is all done and it's ready to go? Because that's gonna be a lot of work too. I mean, it's gonna be hard to
yeah.
balance all that shit, you know. Uh, like, do you have a goal in mind for this is when I want to have the second issue done? Like, is it a year from now or?
I
Uh,
think I can get it done, if not for Heroes Con, which would be June, mid June.
yeah,
With a little bit of retooling, with a little, of my own workflow and process, and discipline. A lot of it's discipline.
most, yeah, that's
It's
most of it,
it's
right?
it's not been an easy sort of end of the year for the family in general.
Yeah,
A lot of things have come up that had to have been dealt with, and there were just some days that where you come home and you're just, after dealing with some stuff a little bit, I'm taking the rest of the night off, and the holidays I've kind of taken off, so to speak.
yeah,
I was almost late to this because I was dropping dialogue in word balloons for for issue 1. And
yeah,
I looked up all of a sudden. It's like, oh my gosh, it's we got less than 5 minutes to get going.
yeah, yeah. I might have hit the link for that to join like 3 times, waiting for you. I was like, it, it'll be all right. He's
Yeah. Oh
coming.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
He's
you're
coming.
here now.
Well, I mean, I think it'd be awesome if you had, you know, 2 issues by heroes.
Oh, that'd be great.
Uh,
And certainly down the road. Um, and maybe now's a good time to talk about what we're doing as far as conventions this
uh-huh.
this year.
Well, yeah, we can. It's kind of up in. I mean, it's still kind of up in the air.
We got
Uh,
Matthew. We got Matthews.
yes, yeah. So
I forgot the
March
date. Yeah, March.
It's early March. I want to say it's like the first week in March or thereabouts. We are doing Matthews Comic Con.
Hmm.
Both of us are going to be there. We both have tables. We should be sitting next to each other.
Yep.
Um, we both requested each other, so I don't know. Uh, but that's going to be as far as I know, that'll be the first one of the year. I didn't talk to you about this, but I did send a application out for another show.
Okay,
It
cool.
was kind of like last minute. So I doubt I'm going to get in, but if I do, I'll be doing a show in February and I'll announce that if I actually get it. Probably won't. Uh, so yeah, so we're definitely doing Matthews Comic Con
Yep.
uh, in March. I know we want to try, at least I do, to do Fluke,
Yep.
uh, which is the end of March. Um, and they'll announce here pretty shortly when those are going to go on sale.
Yeah, because I
Um,
remember last year, and I
it
don't
was
remember
on
the.
Matthews Comic Con. It was
Oh,
the day because the day.
getting some weird stuff going on.
Okay, yeah, you were kind of sounded weird there.
Yeah, we're having some kind of feed issue going on. Maybe
Yeah, yeah, you sound weird,
let's.
huh? Do I sound
Are
weird?
we? You're back on now.
Okay, all right.
You're back on.
Well,
I don't know. That was weird. I don't know. That was weird.
yeah. Well, you kind of it a while ago. You were kind of breaking in and out. So, um,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah. No, I remember last year when the day to sign up for Fluke, it was the Matthews Comic Con or whatever. Because we
Yep.
were all
Yeah, and that
talking
was the
like,
talk. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Because none of us got a fucking table.
that's
Because
right. That's right.
yeah, because it sells out in like 5 minutes. Um,
That's wild. That's so crazy.
so we're gonna try and stay on top of that, and hopefully we can do that, so we can have a pretty busy March.
Right.
Um, I think we want to do Heroes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Heroes is in the books, and
Yep,
just waiting on that notification from the wonderful coordinators over there that, hey, we are ready to rock. Go ahead and secure your spot.
yep,
Um, and and then we have the spa con in Hot Springs, Arkansas, which is it's I mean, the plan is still in place. It's a little weird and convoluted to get the table.
yeah,
I don't know that I've gone through, you know, I thought I could log in, buy a table, boom, we're in.
yeah,
And I went to do that. I guess I guess yesterday, and I should have done it earlier because the it said the artist alley tables were all taken,
yeah,
and that left vendor tables, and they have a special rate um, if you get them by today.
yeah,
And then I fill out all the forms, and it's really weird because it's like it's asking me for links to our stuff. It wants me to drop some PDFs of our stuff, and it's kind of like they will look at what we're doing and give us a yay or a nay.
yeah.
Which I it's they know how to run their show, not me. Um, and but I feel like, holy gatekeeping, Batman. I mean, come on.
I mean,
Um,
I'm not a fan of that.
yeah,
Um, but it's becoming more and more the norm. Uh, the I did Queen City Zine Fest back in October.
yeah,
Uh, had a great time. Did pretty good sales. And but even that, and it's and I'm not blaming the organizers. They're everything they asked for was good.
right,
Uh, but the application was also very much the same. I mean, I had to spend probably a good, I don't know, 30 minutes maybe getting the application together because it was they wanted like a 300 by 300 uh, picture and shit. They
Yeah.
wanted a description of my work. They wanted links. They wanted the, it was all this
Yeah.
stuff. And the good thing about that is when once I got into the show, they had all that information, and then they posted it on social media when they were pushing the show. So a lot of times that's why they ask that. Um,
Well, I mean,
so
all that's well and good if you can just go
yeah.
ahead and get your thing and be done with it instead of having to
Well,
wait.
here's the thing though. So I sent all that in. I didn't send it in with payment. They didn't even have payment options. They were like,
Yeah.
"Well, we'll notify you if you got a table." So I had to wait. It was probably a month, maybe, before I got a notification saying, "Hey, you got a table." And then it was, "We'll send you a invoice on uh, PayPal to pay it." Um, so again, it was a great show. Like I don't honestly, it's been a long time since I've been treated that well at a show. They helped us
Nice.
load in, load out. It was great. Um, but I think a lot of shows that is kind of what they're going towards. I think a lot of shows are going towards these uh, curated kind of shows. I mean,
Yeah.
SPX used to be a show where you just sent in your money and you had a table there.
Right.
Now it's so big, it's they have, I think it's like 30% at least of it is curated, and then the 60% is a lottery, maybe more.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
and I just see Nathan bringing up a good point. Having some kind of quality control for what
yeah,
is in your convention hall. I mean, I get that. I
oh
get
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, you can have if it's just anyone can get anything.
Well, I
Um,
mean, Comics Gate is a thing. I'm serious. I'm not joking.
no,
Do you
yeah,
not
yeah, for
know?
real,
Yeah,
for
no,
real.
I'm not fucking joking. And these Comics Gate cartoonists, uh, there's been a lot of shows that people have boycotted or given a lot of shit for these guys coming in here
Right,
and getting tables and them spouting their fucking bullshit.
right.
And it's, dude, it sucks because, like, man, one of them's Doug Tenemple, who's the creator of Earthworm Jim.
Mm,
And I know Nathan knows. Me and Nathan, dude, we beat that game bunch of times. We loved it. I love his art style. I loved the comics he made. I love the video games he made. He's a fucking prick.
that
He
sucks.
he's a homophobic, just piece of shit, and
Yeah.
I don't care if he hears me say it. Like you know, you ruined me loving your work.
Yep.
Like he came out with an Earthworm Jim book that looked beautiful, and I cannot bring myself to buy that because you're such a piece of shit.
Right.
Um, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to support you. I'm not going to support your Comicsgate bullshit. I'm all for freedom of speech and stuff like that, but I'm not for fucking hate speech and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
so anyway, that went off on a thing, but
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think Nathan's right. I think some of it is because of that, because there are those groups out there, and they want to make sure, okay, you're not associated with that. You're not associated with NFTs. I mean, and I think that's already blown over, but that was
Hopefully.
a big thing.
Right.
But now it's AI. You know,
Yep.
are you just putting out AI bullshit?
And I and
Um,
I think something on the application, sort of mentioned that, or they prohibit that, um, as it
yeah,
were, uh, in their sort of this is what you need to be coming. That it's not for you if you do this, kind of
yeah,
thing. But having said that, um, I've got the application in, uh, and it's funny because they said we will determine if you need this kind of table or an artist alley table. Um, but I've got I've got an in on the people who run it, and I was given the direct email address, and I was told that I need to. They'll be expecting to hear from me,
Yeah.
and so I will shoot out a quick message to them,
Yeah.
explaining who we are, what our intent is, and what we'd like to do.
Yeah.
Um, and me being a hometown boy of Hot Springs, Arkansas, and a comic book creator, it's like
Yeah.
they you know you know my friends at home are like, yeah, you should be part of this, if you want to.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm obviously we want I'm looking forward to doing as many shows this year as possible.
yeah.
Um, but I think both of us also, we've kind of talked about it that uh it's also kind of a test for some of these shows
Hmm.
of, do we really need to do that many anymore? I'm really of the mind of, we haven't even talked about my resolution or anything like
No,
that
no,
for
no.
this year, but I'm of the mind that it's probably going to be more worth it to me to put out consistent work on social media and online and work on that part of my cartooning business than going and doing these shows that are going to take time out of that. Like
Yeah.
you can't, you just, I can't, I can't work when I'm at a show.
Hmm.
I mean, technically I could. I have an iPad, I could bring it, but I cannot keep focused to do that while I'm trying to sell and talk to people and stuff like that. I
Oh
just
yeah.
I put myself in a different frame of mind. Um, and there's so much work, like getting prepared for a show like that. And then when you
Yes.
get done with the show, one, you're probably going to get sick. They call it con crud.
Yep.
So many people get sick afterwards. Um, I still try and mask up at some of these shows. It's the only time I've not gotten sick. Um,
Right.
so anyway, my point is, you know, uh, I still, this was this was like my first episode. We talked about conventions, and right, like Nathan just said, going to
Hmm.
shows costs money, travel, lodging. you know, and me and Nathan have tabled at a bunch of shows together too.
Yep.
And we never, we did it because it was fun and we're friends and we had a blast. But we never made our fucking money back at that shit. You know, um, so I don't think there's anything wrong with going. Okay, this year we're gonna do a bunch because let's see how it goes. Let's see how the reaction is with putting a more work out online, getting your book done on Kickstarter,
Yeah.
doing the show.
Yeah. Growing the show.
Um, but also if we get to the end of it, I think we need to be okay saying, yeah, this didn't work.
No. Well, it's just like being in a punk rock band.
Yeah, exactly.
You book a little tour,
Yeah,
and and if you get back with about the same that you had in your pocket when you left, that's great.
yeah.
That is amazing.
I mean,
Um,
how many shows have you seen where the touring band comes up there and they're almost crying, begging you to go buy a T-shirt and a CD because they just need to make it to the next town.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
I've lost count of the times I've seen that happen. You
Yeah,
know,
you know,
so
or we've, I know we've kind of pushed people over to, they're at our merch booth, and we're like, hey, we'll be here again. Go get their stuff,
yeah,
because they're on the road. We know how it is.
right,
But
right,
for this, so like, yeah, my idea of going and playing, you know, Richmond or DC or someplace like that is not that we're going to come back ahead. I expect to come back in the hole,
yeah,
but if it's in the name of growing the audience, meeting new people, having a great time, coming back with stories. I mean, that's how many people
Yeah.
go to Hawaii for a vacation and come back ahead? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that no one does. No one
Well,
does.
that's the thing. I think, for me, if we, like, I would love to do a CXC one year, which is the Columbus Crossroads. It's the closest thing in America that we have to uh, a European style convention. Um, and like an Angolim is like a week long. I mean, the town, it's called Angoulême because it's Angoulême, France. They shut down that town, and it's just flooded with comic enthusiasts and cartoonists. I mean, they have statues like every block of like Tintin and
Yeah,
Asterix and all this stuff. And Columbus Crossroads is trying to reproduce that in some sort of way
huh?
in America. So it's like they have
That's
days of panels, of workshops, and then they have 2 to 3 days of it's a comic convention.
yeah.
Uh, and so I would love to do that. I'd love to go visit the Billy Ireland Museum, so we could see some like original artwork. I mean, they have thousands upon thousands of original pages there.
That's
Um,
so cool.
yeah. Um, so I I would love that would be something where I'd be like, let's do that, knowing we're probably, we're not going to make our money back
Right,
from a trip, to Columbus, Ohio, and stuff like that.
but it's
Um,
not that far.
it's like 8 hours. I
And
mean, it's
that's
8 hours. It's 8 hours.
yep.
I've made that drive a lot of times.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and well, I've got some family there that maybe, I don't know. I don't really talk to them that much, but I do have family there. I've got plenty of family
Yeah,
there.
nice.
Uh, but but Columbus is a fun town.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down.
Yeah,
If everything works out for Hot Springs, and we definitely,
yeah. I think it's
can.
the same weekend this year.
Oh fuck, end of
Yeah, yeah,
September, like
yeah.
third
I think
weekend of
it's the
September.
same. I think it's the same. It's yeah, no, but that might be something for next year. Depending
Right.
on we look at that.
Next year
But
being
that's
2025,
yeah,
not 2024.
right, right, yeah. Um, I've always wanted to do TCAF, which is the Toronto Comics and Art Festival.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Um, and it's hard to get in because it's just a um, lottery table.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah.
Like they kind of pick your name out of a hat. I think there's a lot of curation and stuff like that too. Um, but to go to Toronto and hang out there,
Oh, yeah.
I think it'd be fun just to do
Yep.
that shit.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. 100%. Like things that I am definitely down with doing. We set aside time.
Yeah.
We can even because you can get to Maine in one shot from here. Um, and then lots of people we can just rest up and then for the last leg on in. If we
Yeah.
drove it. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I'm with it,
God, I don't know. That sounds horrible.
dude.
Because I've driven to uh I've driven to Jersey from here in one shot, and that was not fun.
Well,
Let's
most of it
see.
was from DC up. That was
Yeah.
the longest. That was the longest stretch.
Yeah. Let's see. Do they ask for portfolios at lottery drawing conventions? They usually just ask for like a link to your work. Um, and kind of the same thing we were talking about. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the hard part about some of these shows is part of it are lottery and part of it are uh, curation where they pick the people. Um,
Yeah.
and so, like that's what SPX, which is in Bethesda, um, which is a great show, but like I said before, that's one where they curate a big part of it, and then the rest of it's lottery.
Well, I mean,
Um,
Heroes Con is kind of like that. I mean, the Indie Isle
well, Indie
is
Island is
curated,
curated,
you
yeah,
know,
but
and
it's on a I would say Heroes is on a much smaller scale. Uh, it's a huge show, but Indie Island compared to the rest of Artist Alley and their vendors is pretty small,
yeah, yeah,
compared to these other shows.
but most of Artist Alley Heroes is vendors with you
Yeah,
know yeah, not particularly comic book artists with their own little thing like us.
yeah.
You'll find elf ears and
Oh yeah,
all
yeah,
that fun stuff that we're looking for. The toy vendors and stuff like that. Will be
yeah.
situated around that area as well. So
Right, right, right. Yeah.
there's room for everybody.
Oh yeah. Well, especially now. I mean, I think that's part of the problem with shows now. I think is they're pop culture shows. They're not comic book shows. They're pop
Yeah.
culture shows. And that's why the shows I mentioned, SBX, CXC, TCAF. Those are comic book shows. Those are
Right.
for comic books. You're not gonna find that pop culture bullshit there. And there's a place for that pop culture bullshit, but that's
Hmm.
that's the thing. That's the vast majority of them. And so there's something nice about having those. Like this is just the comic book show.
Right.
Um, you know. But again, I don't. It's like we talk about. It's like sometimes uh, at these big comic book shows, you don't stick out because there's so many comic books. They're everywhere.
True. And
I mean, that's
it's
like
like
Heroes is a great comic book convention. It's got a little bit
yes.
of the pop culture stuff. Um, I mean, shit. Me and Nathan sat right next to fucking Lou Ferrigno for a weekend. Uh, not right next. We were probably
Yeah.
like 3 table spaces, but he was the next table down from us. Uh, that's pop culture. Um,
Right.
but for the most part, they're still very like comic book centered.
Yeah.
But there's just so much of it. It's just so big. It's how do you stick out,
Yeah. Yeah. That's the
at
tough.
this stuff.
That's the tough egg to crack. Even if you are doing comics, even in Indie Island, you know,
Oh
um,
yeah,
it's tough. Tough place to be. It's kind of like playing Fest or playing.
yeah,
If you get to play punk rock bowling,
yeah.
yeah, we get to play punk rock bowling. Oh, we're playing at 11 a.m. behind a bar
Oh yeah,
that's
I
a
know.
block and a half away from like the main area.
Yeah,
You know, but we played it. We played South by Southwest. We were
yeah.
you know in the farthest periphery of the whole thing. Um, and I mean, I'm not saying don't do that and don't take those
Well,
opportunities.
but
Don't. I'm not saying don't get your table at a big convention.
I mean, I think like what you're saying there. That's kind of my you know point is a South by Southwest is almost no different than like a San Diego Comic Con.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Only a San Diego Comic Con is probably going to cost you even more. Uh,
Yes.
because those tables are fucking astronomical. Um, and I think there are people that go and they do these shows thinking, well, it's huge, and so
Yeah.
it's going to be great. And well, you're just as in the mix as everybody else. I mean, could you imagine spending $1,000 on a table for San Diego Comic Con, and then they put you by the bathroom like we were at Heroes Con? Like, could you fucking imagine that? Like
Yeah.
shipping
Yeah.
all of our shit over there, flying out there. paying for a hotel for fucking a week
Oh,
and
you're
being
in for
by,
5 grand. By the time you
yeah,
get home, you're
right,
5 grand out.
yeah, yeah. You're not,
But
and and I mean, and don't get me wrong, there's cartoonists that go out there and do, Dave Kellett from Comic Lab, uh, he does San Diego, but he
mhm,
lives there. Like, he lives in LA, so he's a 2-hour drive or whatever down there. He
yeah,
has family there, and he talks about this all the time. I only have to drive 2 hours, I pack everything in my minivan,
yep,
and I stay with my family, and he's had the same spot for, like, 20 years, uh, and he does, like, 30 grand in that week or whatever. But he's been doing it for that long, and
yeah,
he doesn't have the expense of, like, traveling out there and doing all that shit or whatever, you know?
right, right.
So,
I mean, like, and we're doing Heroes Con this year. Um, do we do it
hopefully.
next year?
We want to.
Do we
Yeah,
do we do it the next year? I don't know,
yeah,
because even though it's not, we live here, it's not that expensive, especially split two ways.
yeah,
Um, but is it worth continuing to
yeah.
do it?
Well, it still adds up, you know? I mean,
And I
even
guess the parallel would be, okay, we go to Asheville, you play the auditorium, you play Gray Eagle, you play Fleetwood,
yeah,
um, and obviously it costs to get there. And you balance the question: do we keep doing this and build the audience? Are we building the audience?
yeah,
Are we seeing that progression, or are we just kind of being here next to the bathroom year after year after year, watching people walk past?
yeah,
Um, I mean, at the end of the day, if you got it, and that's what you like to do, definitely do it. But for our perspective, we're certainly this year and see how it goes and see how everything else goes, and that will determine the path going into the year after and the year after and so on.
yeah, yeah,
I was going to pitch San Diego, but I think we need to talk about that one offline.
yeah. I
Because I got family. I got.
I
What Nathan say? I just saw him pop in there.
let's see. If you get stuck by the bathroom again, steal all the toilet paper, then sell toilet paper at a markup.
You see, I mean, and that's dude.
What
I
sucks
was.
is we were by the year you had COVID, we were by the women's bathroom. So uh so I
you
would
know
have
I,
had to get your daughter to sneak in there and hey.
the ba- the bathrooms were a little bit down from where I was, and I remember I think it was Sunday, and maybe it was Saturday, but I'm doing my thing in my place to do it, and people are in the hand washing areas just having a family reunion, and I'm over here thinking, what psychopaths want to talk in the bathroom, even if you're washing your hands? I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing with me. Don't talk to me if I'm, I don't want to. No,
Yeah.
just that that time, that moment in time, from the time I walk in to the time I walk out, is only me. No one else exists, and
Well,
they're
it's
just.
not like comic conventions are full of awkward, insecure people. That's
But
strange.
dude, so and they're loud. And these guys were loud, and they're,
I
hey, I
know.
was talking about, and they're talking about, yeah, last time I did anything for Marvel was 10 years ago. I can't get anyone to answer the phone at DC, and I come around the corner, wash my hands, I look, it's like Tom DeFalco and Ron Friends, you know, and I'm like, I mean, that's cool, but you're still freaking me out in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I met Tom DeFalco at San Diego in like '92 or '93. And
Yeah.
I remember, he asked what my favorite comic was, and obviously I was saying, "Oh, I like the Young Blood stuff that's coming out, and I like Spawn." And he's like, "Well, what else? What else?" And I'm like, "Oh, of course, X-Men." He's like, "Oh, you ever read Fantastic Four?" It's like, I've got a few. a few issues. He goes, "Oh, you should get one now. You should get one now. They're really good." You know, and he was writing it at the time, as well as being the editor in chief.
Was it? Was it, Tom?
I
I don't
think I
think
went and
so.
got one. I think I
I
went and
think
got
there's a
one.
reason you guys went and paid Jim Lee a shit ton of money to reboot it, for it also to not be good. Uh,
Yeah, did you get any of those when they
no,
came out?
no.
No, I was.
I was done with that stuff by then. Um, let's see, because those came out in '96. No, I was
Yeah,
living in Columbus, and I was fully into alternative uh, indie comics.
Earthworm Jim.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah. No, no, I was totally out. I maybe still bought some Wolverine or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, but I really didn't care what Jim Lee or Rob Liefeld was doing then at all.
Yeah, I was fully
I
indie
was
by that
yeah.
time too. All I read was Gen 13. I was all in on Gen
Oh yeah.
13 because it hit all the it hit all the marks. It hit all the damn marks. You know, it's like, what's making this X-Men stuff so popular?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But
Was it
I was still
uh,
hanging on the superhero thing, like someone. What was that in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where she's hanging on the cliff and he's like, "Give me your hand, come up, come up." So like I'm
yeah.
over the cliff, of superhero comics, and all my friends and people are like, "No, check out this other stuff," and the Grail falls next to me and it's like Heroes Reborn. I'm like, "No, I can reach it." So I bought those shits. At least, not all of them, but quite a few of them.
Levi, did you just compare the cup of Jesus Christ to Heroes Reborn? I just want to. Is that what I just heard?
It was more the scene. It wasn't the specifics.
I'm pretty sure it's clear what you just did. We will be making this
I
a clip and putting it out there.
Oh, we got to. We
I
got
think
to.
Comicsgate might have a spot for you.
Oh wow. Let it go, Junior. Let it go. Junior.
Junior? Oh,
Oh, and how
that's
we're
the
gonna
best.
delve into the Sean Connery impressions.
That's the best Indiana Jones movie.
It really is. And
Yeah.
if I had my way, if I could time travel, there's two things I would do. If there's two things I could pick, you can only pick one. One of them would be I would go to Kenner. I would bust in the meeting when they're deciding the specs for the Star Wars figures.
Uh huh.
And what I would have in my hand would be Matt Tracker from the Mask line, which were about half the size or three
Uh
quarters the
huh.
size of. And I would say, you're going to make the figures this big. Scale down the X-Wing, scale down the TIE Fighter, scale down the Snowspeeder. Keep the Millennium Falcon the same. This is the size of your figures.
Yeah.
And that way all the ships would be much more closer to
Yeah.
scale,
Yeah.
cinematic scale.
That would have been nice. Yeah.
That, and then go to wherever I had to go to make. Well, actually, you know what? I'm not going to make the other Indiana Jones movies not happen because I don't have to watch them, and I can, when Indy and Dr. Jones and I forget the little buddy.
Short wrap. What?
No. This is Last Crusade. They all
Last
three
Crusade.
ride. They all three ride in the sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the dean
Marcus.
or yeah,
Marcus.
Marcus. Yeah. Who
Yeah,
was he? The
and
department
Sala.
chair? What was his deal? Was
He's.
he the department
I think
chair or something?
he's the department head for the
Okay.
archaeology department.
Okay.
Yeah.
He does a
Yeah.
shitty job. He's really bad at his job because then he's always going
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
doing shit instead of, hey, we got finals this
My
week. You've got
my my favorite scene from that movie is when uh Indy is telling the Nazis how he's gonna disappear. You'll never find
oh
him.
yeah,
He
yeah, yeah,
has he
yeah.
has friends in every country.
He
And then
knows
it
every
cuts it
language.
yeah, and then it cuts to him in Egypt going, does anybody know the way here? Does
Anyone speak
anybody speak
English?
does anyone speak ancient Greek? Anybody? Like, like oh my
No,
god,
that's
it's
great
like
storytelling. I mean,
oh,
George
it's
Lucas
so
was so good at that. He was so good.
well, that's Steven Spielberg. I mean
Oh, I'm sorry,
that's
Spielberg. Spielberg?
yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's pure
yeah, Spielberg.
Spielberg. He, I heard something uh, you know, when something big happens and you see these characters take their glasses off. One, who the fuck takes your glasses off to look at something? But it reads in a Spielberg movie. Like when Spielberg does that shit, you're like, I know what he's doing. And
I hear you, Paul.
he invented that, you know?
Yes.
Uh
Yeah. And
Highlander
someone.
2. Holy shit. I mean, I don't know. Damn. That's woo. That's awful. Uh yeah. But anyway, I no Spiel and I'll tell you I watched the fifth one and I didn't hate it.
Hmm.
But I'll tell you there's a chase scene and watch that chase scene and then go watch the chase scene
in, a,
in the
in American Graffiti.
well no in the Crystal Skull. Go watch the chase scene in the Crystal Skull, which is everybody hates that movie, but go watch that one where they're flying through the college and Harrison's like riding on a bike and then going through a cab and stuff like that. It's masterful, like directing and cinematography. Well, Spielberg didn't do this, this fifth movie. And so
Yeah.
you can see the real difference between what Spielberg does and what somebody else thinks they're doing.
Gotcha.
It's a huge it really is a huge difference. Um, it makes me sad that he didn't do the fifth movie. I don't want to say it'd be better because he did Crystal Skull and that's a fucking shit show. Um, it's so close to being a good movie. That the Crystal Skull.
It,
Um, so there's a video that Tom Sholey did on Total Recall show about the movie that it almost was.
yeah.
Because Frank Darabont wrote a script for the Crystal Skull. It was called City of Gods, and they took a lot from it and put it into Crystal Skull. Uh, but he had a through line on the story. It just sounded amazing. Like if we had gotten that movie, it would have been amazing. And
Mm.
Spielberg signed off on it. Everybody signed off on it. Who do you think didn't sign off on it? George fucking Lucas.
Oh yeah,
George
yeah,
fucking Lucas didn't sign off on it. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it sucks.
yeah, yeah.
How did
It's
we get here? How did we get here?
well, because we talk about all manner of things that go back to we talk about storytelling, we talk about inspiration, we talk about Tom
Oh yeah.
Selleck's Indiana
Oh yeah.
Jones.
I know. I've seen the auditions that he did, and it's just like, oh, I just can't.
Oh man,
Jones with a mustache. No way.
Indy would be wearing a Hawaiian shirt the whole time
Yeah.
instead of the leather jacket.
Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah. Shia
Yeah,
LaBeouf.
yeah,
He
yeah.
fucking ruined that. Oh.
You know,
He's horrible. He's
I
horrible.
can't blame him for Fury, but I still will. I mean, that movie. Did you see Fury about the tanks and stuff? And
No. Mm-mm.
Brad Pitt. basically being his character from Inglourious Bastards.
Right, right,
Uh,
right, right. Oh, I remember. I didn't watch it though, but I know
you
what you're
can't
talking about.
you can't like anyone in that movie. There is no one that you like. Um,
Yeah,
you know, um, it's like you just want to get through it. And
yeah,
I didn't get through it, and I came back and finished. When the finale was setting up, I was like, I'd rather be asleep right now. Um, but I did come back to check it, and yeah, there was nothing good about any character. No one was likable, and the fact that it had Shia LaBeouf's mug on one of the most detestable um, movies. But I don't like the Nazis either. you know, but yeah, I mean it could have been a good film.
yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I mean, a lot of movies are so close to being good.
just like a lot of
It's
comics are so close to being good.
yeah. No, yeah, for sure.
Maybe mine is really close to being good.
Well, what's nice about comics uh is you have such a small team, you know,
yeah,
and in our case, we're it. Um, and that's what's so hard for movies. There, there's so many people with their hands in this pie,
yeah,
and that's where a lot of times they get ruined, and that's the great thing about comics. Like, you know, if I ruin my comic, I ruined it. I ruined it all by myself.
yeah.
It's not because there was a producer saying, I think you should, change this just a little bit. Have you thought
Yeah,
about,
or
drawing Shia LaBeouf a little bit more and have him swing through your comic like a monkey? Um, you
or it
know,
goes up and someone at the executive level says, "No, we can't have that," which
yeah,
is a crucial story element.
yeah,
One wave of the hand, and you've got to rewrite the entire screenplay.
yeah.
But I mean,
Have you ever seen Enemy Mine?
that's a great
A
film.
class. Okay, okay. So there's a mine in that movie, right? Like at the end, I think, or something like that. I haven't seen it in a long time. Anyway, that's only in there because there was a producer that when he saw the title "Enemy Mine"
Don't say
was
it.
like, "Why isn't there a mine in here?" And pushed like a fucking like, yeah. And
Oh man.
so they kind of shoehorn that in there to appease this guy who was pulling some strings. They couldn't read this title for what it was.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much of that shit. 80s movie, yeah, probably 84, 85.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking.
Yeah,
Lou
it's
Gossett,
got who
uh,
it's
Daniel Quaid,
right.
Lou Gossett Jr.
Yeah.
And the only film that I believe is the only film Lou Gossett Jr. was in where he didn't say, "Let's see what you got."
Oh, really?
He said it in Iron Eagle 1, 2, and 3. Uh,
Uh-huh.
pretty sure he said it in An Officer and a Gentleman. Um, it's just one of those catchphrases that I always associate with him, whether or not he's actually said it across his career.
Yeah. Yeah. Um yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. But anyway, yeah,
Good film. I want to watch it
yeah.
again. I want to rewatch that one.
I can't remember if I've seen it all the way through or not. It's been forever. But I just remember that story
Yeah,
of the fucking mine. It's just
yeah.
so
Well,
ridiculous.
and to get that to comics, I mean, if you look at the bylines in like Marvel comics, and I would guess DC's probably the same. There are a lot more names and a lot more positions that are dealing with the production of the comic than what used to be.
Yeah.
What used to be, from the writer all the way through to the editor in chief. That was maybe 7 people. If you got a writer, a penciler, an inker, a colorist, a letterer, you've got your editor, your editor in chief. Yeah. Um, and hell, like 10 years ago, I dropped a Marvel comic, and I counted 13 names in the bylines, and a quarter of them were producers with the title producer. You know, um, I feel like that's dropped off to some degree, and it's been more narrowed. Um, that may have been an effect of the buildup of the you know uh, the MCU, and now that the
Yeah.
MCU might have leveled off to a certain degree. You don't quite have so many people clamoring into the comics realm to get to the film realm. That's my take. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I saw when all of a sudden Captain America was. I'm not mad that things have to change, but now he looks exactly like the uniform from the movie. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Oh yeah.
and
You know what has really frustrated me? They have you seen the What If show on Disney
no,
Plus?
nah,
I think it's trash, but what really frustrates me about it is, I liked the What If comics when they
yeah,
were coming out. I'd grab them. You could almost always find them in the grocery store and shit like that.
yeah,
So I get them. I mean, they always had like second tier people drawing them and stuff. It was never that exciting, but
yep,
I'd still get them. Uh, but it's an animated show on Disney, and they finally have a chance to play with these different art styles. And instead, it looks rotoscoped.
really,
Yeah, it looks horrible. It's horrible animation. It's so boring. And they could have done, they've done like, Captain America stories and all this stuff. They've done a ton. I mean, just think of the fun they could have had, uh, taking Jack Kirby's style and animating it in an
yeah,
episode, or, doing an X-Men story and taking Mark Silvestri's art style and animating it. There's all this fun stuff they could have done, and instead it's like I might as well be watching a fucking movie. Like there's no fun to the art style and the animation.
that
And
sucks.
well, and I think it just goes to show how much, you know, these billion-dollar movies have not helped the comics industry at
Yeah,
all.
no, not at all.
And that's not the movie's fault. That's the comic creator's fault. I'm sorry. You've got the biggest fucking commercial you could possibly ever have, and you're not capturing that. You know,
Yeah,
uh, and that to me that goes to the comics that are coming out. It doesn't go to the, oh well, they should be spending more money on the advertising for our comics. $1 billion movie is the advertising for your comic.
right, right.
Like I can't find fucking Scott Pilgrim Volume 4 right now. Okay? That's it's a big cartoon on Netflix. That's why I
Yeah,
can't fucking find it. That was its advertising. People are
right,
looking for Scott Pilgrim because they watched the cartoon and they go, I want more Scott Pilgrim. It worked for that because it's a good comic.
right.
It's not working for Marvel because you're making shit comics. It's not
Yeah,
working for DC because you're making shit comics.
I go into the comic shop, and I'm still confused about what I'm looking at. I understand we have several different titles, and I understand you know that there are so many different stories to be told. Um, but at the end of the day, because I feel like I'm coming in as a new reader. I've got the years and years of lore and collection and everything. But looking at what's on the stands right now, I don't know where to jump in. I
Yeah,
see reprints. They're doing all these reprints, which I guess is a smart business move. The facsimiles that they're putting out of key issues and stuff, and that's cool. But you know, apart from that, where do I jump in for a good fun story?
yeah,
And I'm not seeing it in front of me. I do get the Hulk. I like what the Hulk's been doing. Yeah, I'm open to the change that's happening there. Um, I like the Silver Surfer Rebirth. I mean, but we're talking about their marketing. It's the same creative team that I grew up reading, doing the comic once again. That's what got me interested. Um, the classic, Silver Surfer Marvel Comics corner box caught my attention. So I gravitated towards it. Oh, Ron Lim did this. Oh, wow, cool. Um, and and that team. All right, Paul. We'll see you, Ben. Thanks for hanging out.
Hey, thanks.
Um, so that's how you get me.
Yeah,
But how do you get new readers?
yeah,
Um, I feel like
yeah.
the big,
12-year-olds have no fucking clue who Ron Lim is.
yeah, yeah, and he's still working in comics, and that's a shame. Happy New Year, Nathan. Um, and you should know.
Yeah,
And that's kind of Marvel's fault. I feel like,
yeah.
um, for for that. But hell, I don't know who their going talent is. Right? I don't know who Marvel's hottest creative team is or creator is.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know
think
who
I think
DC's
you
hottest is.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head though, saying, okay, you're someone who's been reading and collecting comics, even if it's off and on, for 30 years, right? More maybe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, probably 40. You're closing in on 40. You're old, Levi. Uh and but I'm the same.
Yeah.
Uh and so we're people that have been following this stuff forever, and you're walking into a store and you don't know where to start. You're confused. How does somebody who actually watched the Captain America movie and said, I want to read some Captain America comics, and they walk into a store and they're like, I don't even know where to start. What are they going to do? They're probably going
Yeah.
to fucking turn around and walk out.
I mean,
Or,
here's the Captain America, but this one says Captain America too, and so does that one. Which one do I get?
yeah, yeah.
I feel like there's just too many titles, maybe. Um,
No, I think, see, well, there might be too many titles for certain characters,
and that's what
but,
I mean.
but,
But
but, I mean, you look at manga, there's thousands upon thousands of titles of manga, and it's doing just fine. Uh,
yeah,
but let's look at One Piece. One Piece is at this point the most selling comic that is in existence. It has hit that. No one has sold more comics than One Piece in the world.
right.
Uh, if you want to get started into One Piece, what do? You go buy the first book in One Piece. And this is a series that is now stretching, I think they're up to 110 collections. 110 250-page collections. So we're not talking about, oh, there's just, there's a lot of material here.
No, no,
And
I
you
don't
and
mind
you
there
go
being.
and you go by the first One Piece, and that's where you start with One Piece.
I,
There's
I I
nothing
I don't
like
mind that
that.
there's a lot of legacy for a title.
Yeah,
You know,
but there's
that's not my gripe. My
no, I
gripe
know, but
is I look and there's exaggeration. Someone correct me. I'm wrong about this, but I look because I'm looking for things I'm familiar with, and there's like I'm looking at a dozen X-Men titles.
yeah, no,
And
right, I
I
know,
don't mean the umbrella of you have X Factor, New Mutants, Uncanny, no adjective, X-Men, Power Pack was adjacent. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about all these various X-Men things. And okay, so I can tell that's a collection of Dark Phoenix Saga right there. I know, I can pick that stuff out, but a new reader is not going to.
no, I know, yeah, no, and I mean that's what I'm saying. That's where they have nothing in place for that new reader
Mhm.
to get started. And I really don't understand why they haven't. Well, I know why they haven't. They don't care. They don't. I mean, here's the reality is that DC is owned by Warner Brothers,
Yeah, yeah.
Time Warner. Is it still Time Warner?
I
Or is
think
it
so.
Discovery? No, it's Discovery. It's Discovery now.
Oh, is it?
It's Discovery. Yeah. They're owned by uh by this giant conglomerate company. Marvel is owned by Disney, this giant conglomerate company.
Yeah.
Their comics division is a fraction error
Oh yeah.
when it comes to what they do. So they don't. There's nobody in the higher like Bob Iger is not going. When are we going to sell more comics? He doesn't give a fuck. He wants more people coming to the parks. He wants those movies to be big. I guarantee you, he does not give a fuck about those comics.
Dude,
He doesn't give a
I,
shit.
when I learned of the buyout, right, and kind of saw, I mean, everything dipped like immediately to me. Um, I was like, yeah, there's no way they're going to keep the print side of it going. They're going to kill the print side of it.
Yeah,
You know, this will be the end of the major comics right now. Um, I was convinced of that, and the
yeah.
fact that that hasn't happened, I'm very glad. And there's cool stuff that there. As much as I complained, there is cool stuff coming out. From Marvel. I can't speak to DC because sadly, I just don't read a much DC. DC doesn't. I've tried. I've tried. I've tried. I've tried. Apart from Batman, it just really doesn't do it for me. But I think they're on a similar trajectory. But DC, I mean, sadly, their cinematic universe hasn't gained traction. Um, that Marvel has.
I think
Um,
I mean James Gunn might be able to help that out. You know,
yeah,
they
yeah,
they
it's
brought they brought
possible.
they brought James Gunn in, uh, and the best DC movie that I've seen has by far been his Suicide Squad movie. It's amazing. I think it's great.
I haven't seen it,
Um,
and I will take your word for
oh
that.
my
But
God,
I've
Levi, it's
also I,
dude.
I also
I could
understand it's
give
been panned.
by no, dude, no. I'm not talking about the first one. I'm talking about the
Oh, okay.
second one,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
not the Will Smith one. The second one.
Okay. I'm with you.
Which I mean, I'm sure there's people that didn't like it. I'm not saying it was like everybody, but I mean, I could give two shits about Suicide Squad. I could give two shits about DC. I don't like Harley Quinn. I don't like these characters. That movie is fucking awesome. My
nice.
wife doesn't know anything about that. We sat there and we watched it. We laughed our ass off. It's great.
I'll have to
Um,
see it. I also want to see Doom Patrol. Now, see, DC's done well over the years.
Doom Patrol's pretty good too.
Yeah, DC's done really well over the years. I think with their television
Sandman's good.
stuff.
Sandman's great. Have you
I
watched
mean,
this Netflix Sandman?
no, no.
It's good. It's good.
Um, but think about like go back to Arrow, right? I mean, DC's had some like hits on television. I always saw the parallel. Marvel's killing it in the cinema. DC's killing it on TV.
Yeah.
And Arrow goes back far enough to the WB appointment TV, right?
Oh, it goes Lois and Clark. Lois and
Lois and
Clark,
Clark.
Levi.
There you go, dude. See,
I watched
DC,
every I watched every episode. I
Smallville,
when I was a kid
dude,
and Lois
Superboy.
and Clark came on just to watch something comic book related because there was nothing on
No,
when that I mean because that was like the late 80s, right? Very early 90s when that was on.
yeah, the
uh
very end of the eight.
Dean Kane and Terry Hatcher.
Yeah,
uh I would watch that. But yeah, no, I think you're yeah, Marvel's always kind of had shitty TV.
yeah, and
um
then Batman the animated series,
oh, the
blew
best
everyone's
Batman,
socks off.
the
Oh yeah,
best Batman.
yeah, yeah,
And it holds up.
all around.
I still watch it. It holds up.
Yeah,
It's still good.
yeah. I was so
uh
disappointed when X-Men finally came out.
oh yeah.
I was so stoked, and it came out. I'm like, X-Men, yay,
Yeah,
yay, yay,
I mean,
yay.
a lot of people love it. A lot of
No,
people love it.
no,
I'm not
did it
I don't
sting?
like it. I'm not
You know,
I would I when the X-Men one came out after watching Batman, that
that's it.
had because Batman, it's not okay. One, the storytelling is amazing.
Yeah,
The character design is just
iconic.
Bruce Timm's character design is above no, like, just no one can beat that.
Yep.
Um, the color palette of that
Mm-hmm.
show, just visual, like, it is dark, you know, every color there means something.
Yep.
Uh, the voice acting, I mean, Mark Hamill, like, I just, and then they the X-Men show comes out, and it looks like it was drawn from a coloring box, like a Crayola. Like there's no, it's like, well, this is yellow, this
Yeah.
is skin tone, this is blue, the sky's blue. Like in Batman, the sky is fucking red. You know,
Right.
they took this just emotional, just it's just amazing. I can't say enough good things about it. And the X-Men show has none of that.
Yeah.
None of it.
Yeah. I mean, it gives us an animated, uh, a light animated version of our favorite X Men stories.
Right, right.
It gives us a coloring book version of the Dark
Yeah,
Phoenix saga.
yeah,
You know, and they're highlights, and I have good memories and stuff
yeah,
like that around it too. But it's just that it doesn't compare. And DC did a really good job um with their television stuff um for a long time. I right about the time they had the Legends of Tomorrow, um that's when I kind of fell out of watching a lot of TV. I was too busy. I remember like when when Firestorm made the appearance in the Flash. I'm like, holy shit, this is gonna be Firestorm. I was like
uh-huh,
really stoked. I could see it coming. It was fun. Um, the Flash was good, and all that kind of stuff. When they crossed over with Arrow, that was really cool. But they just haven't been able to make that movie work
yeah.
since Batman 2. I mean, I think that's the high. Well, Batman. I'm not going to call it Batman '89. It's Batman. Um, that's the high
I mean,
watermark for DC's cinematic offerings.
I mean, the Christopher Nolan Batmans, you
They're
know.
good.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna hot take it. I think okay. I love Heath Ledger as the Joker. And
Mhm.
that performance is amazing. It's great.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
But that movie as a whole is, in my opinion, pretty overrated. It goes back and forth a bunch. It's really silly. It could have been easily 30 minutes shorter, easily.
yeah.
And so I still like it. I think it's good. The performances are great. Um, you know, beautifully directed, great concept, unsatisfactory ending. Uh, have we released that? I don't. Have we released that episode yet?
Oh shit! No, I haven't yet.
You literally only have to. I put the thumbnail up. We just have to hit a
Yeah,
button.
yeah.
Um, but
I'll do that while we're on here. I'm watching my power on my damn
yeah, yeah, yeah.
phone. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, okay.
I'm good.
Um, well,
But
so we you know what? We talked
what?
about your resolution, and we never
Yeah, yeah.
never
I was
even
gonna
got mine.
say like yeah, yeah, because I've been thinking that while we've been talking about these movies. I'm like, we got to get this back. But if you give me 1 second, because my glasses are terrible, this didn't do any good. And since we're only gonna, we've already done like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give me a second. I'm gonna clean them for real right now.
Okay.
You
Okay.
can you can keep the live stream going.
I'm gonna fill it. I'm just gonna do this by myself. I'm so nervous right now. Oh my god. I've got to talk to everybody by myself. Uh, what's everybody doing for New Year's?
Oh
They're
yeah,
blowing
keep the
shit up here for New Year's.
yeah that happened around 2 o'clock. We had
Yeah.
you know It's you're not even in North Carolina, so
I've
they're
already heard
using
like I've already heard like 4 explosions while we've been talking.
they're using real artillery shells in your neck of the woods.
We don't have laws here. You can pretty much do whatever you want. Uh, there's a lot of bad things you can say about South Carolina, uh,
And there's
but that's it. No,
not
there's
a lot
just
of
a
great.
lot of no, there's just a lot of bad things you can say about South Carolina. That was the end of my sentence right there. I was done.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
I mean, there's
Uh,
a lot of bad things you can say about North Carolina, but there's a few good things too.
yeah,
But
it
yeah,
is cheap.
that's
I mean, it's you know what? It's cheaper here. Uh, our gas is way cheaper uh, than North Carolina. Yeah. Um, and well, and we don't have any car inspections, which is both good and bad for the people driving.
and we don't need no education.
Yeah. Nope.
No, no, honestly, I mean, Rock Hill is dope as hell. Um,
Columbia's got some cool places. Yeah, you're like pausing all over the place.
am I?
Yeah, like it just started.
Hmm.
Now you're normal.
Well, how about you go ahead and tell us, tell us what you have in store for the new year.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So I don't want to make any bold claims uh or statements, but my hope is um to get about a 10-page story done every week. Um, I've been getting close to that speed over the last few weeks. Um, but in the episode we're going to drop shortly, we kind of talk about some of my success on Reddit as far as like getting these 10-page stories out, and I've kind of suspected that some of my stuff would do better if I was releasing it in these 10-page story chunks where people could read it all at once. And so far, uh, that seems to be the case. Um, we'll see how it goes. I'm a realist, and there's always times where I go, well, maybe it was a fluke, but I released two stories like that back to back on Reddit, and both of them did well and garnered me new followers on that platform and others, um, and lots of views. Just in those two comics alone with the subreddits, I think it's like I don't know 700, 800,000 views or something like that.
Wow.
Um, so my hope is to keep that going and continue to do these 10-page stories every week. Um, and to be honest, I'm starting with zero fucking buffer. I've got there. I'm not ahead at all. So when I start, it's going to be like right into the fire. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and,
That's how
and,
you know you're
and
serious.
well, and also though, to be honest, that's my goal is the 10 pages a week. But I already know, we at the beginning we talked about doing shows and stuff like that. I just know it's not going to be feasible for me to, do an episode in September if we're driving to Arkansas and we're going to be there for 4 days and then driving back. Like
Yeah,
it's just not going to happen, and I'm probably not going to get ahead of that to do, 20 pages one week so I can release something that week. I know there's going to be spots where I'm just not able to do it, and it might be something closer to every week and a half I'm releasing a new story. Um, that being said, when it comes down to it, I'm pushing for 30 to 40 pages a month.
Yeah.
Even if I'm doing a week and a half, it's still going to be 30 some pages that I'm going to be pushing out. So that's my goal. That's kind
Nice.
of that's my New Year's resolution is, I want to put this work out. I would really like to get to the end of I in a year, I would like to be sitting here and having this conversation and saying, I'm putting together the collection for this past year, and it's a 400-page collection.
I think
Um,
you will. I
I
think
mean,
you
and the
will.
thing is, if I actually hit that weekly mark, we're talking a 520-page collection.
Right.
Um, so I mean, shit, dude. I mean, dude, if I hit 300 pages, I'm gonna be ecstatic. Um, but if I hit it, that it's also something where uh, one, I'm putting out work on a very regular basis. Uh, Two, it's well, shit, in half a year I'll have 200 some pages. So do I
Hmm.
release two collections in a year? Um, or do I wait for that giant omnibus? Which is I just like the idea of that, of having this giant fucking Bible of a comic.
Oh, hell yeah.
Uh, so yeah, so that's my plan. We'll see.
Nice.
It's not. I'm not going to sit here and go, this is going to happen. Uh, because I just know how life works, and I'm not going to get down on myself if I miss a week here or there. But
No, but I think you'll come real close to that
I
goal,
mean, I'd like
if
to.
not
I
achieve it.
I mean,
I think so.
I'd like to, and right now, uh, I guess I kind of have a fire in my belly, and I kind of
Hmm.
wanna put this out, uh and people not. It's almost like you're not going to forget me. It really is like I'm going to show you what I can do, and
Yeah.
and and it's not anybody specifically. It really it's me. I want to show myself what I can do. You know, uh, in this year. You know,
Exactly.
and then maybe I don't know. Do I do it another year? Do I do something different? Like
It's that
yeah,
trend up.
yeah. And like I said, right now, when I release these stories all complete, that it seems to be going up. It
Hmm.
seems to increase the amount of people that that are interested in my work, and they're coming back for the second one. You know,
Yep.
um, so yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan.
Nice.
My biggest fear. Well, I have two. Uh, One is when I'm putting out this level of content, I still would like to put out some books and stuff, and we're talking about doing shows and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
so obviously I'll have the content for the books, but designing a book, printing a book, all that stuff, that that takes time, and that's going to take time into the actual comic creation part of it. Which is
Right.
another big reason where I'm not like, okay, this is going to happen every week, because I still want to have time for that.
Yep.
Um,
Understandable.
right. The other big issue is I don't want to damage my hand. Uh, we talked in a previous episode, back in the summer when I passed out at a doctor's office. I fell on my hand. It's not super great. Um,
Wow.
and uh and I can tell after days where I'm drawing a lot, it
Hmm.
hurts. Um and so I just want to make sure that I'm still being good to myself, and I don't do
Yeah.
something stupid that, let's say I do this for a year and I do it, but at the end of this year, those are the last comics I ever draw because I can't hold a pen, you know.
Mhm.
I and that sounds it's not silly. That's I mean, that's just that happens, you know.
Yeah.
So that's something I want to be careful of. Uh
Yeah, without a doubt, man.
yeah, but super excited. I
Yeah.
like I'm working on this week's story. Uh it's halfway penciled. I want to have it 100% penciled by the end of tonight. Uh
Hell yeah.
and then I'll start, hopefully start inking tomorrow. If I'm in the zone, I can ink 2 or 3 pages in a day. Um
Nice.
and so, I'd like to put it out on my goal for this week is Thursday. Is going to be the next one that comes out.
Cool.
Uh, so we'll see. We'll
We'll keep
we'll
our eyes
see.
open for that.
I just I'm trying to be realistic, but I just kind of want to do it.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, but
And that is as motivating as it can be for me, to get, my shit together. You're talking about doing that output. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll get 20 more pages by summer.
yeah. Well,
So it kind of sets it's almost a gut check for me. Like, yeah, you can do it if you do it.
I mean, to be fair, and I'm not. It's still a lot of work for me, but I've been able to develop a style
Hmm.
that is both cartoony and fast for me to draw. And so, but if you follow my work, you know that I will have these pages that are extremely detailed and intricate, but then those
Yeah,
are also coupled with pages that are very cartoony, very fast uh, drawings.
yeah.
So it does help me. I'll be telling you, I've been trying to push into my inner Sergio Aragones. Uh,
Yeah,
for doing this stuff because he's known as the fastest cartoonist out there. And even him, he's very humble. He's like, yeah, but I've been drawing these characters forever.
yeah.
But that's kind of my goal too. Is like, all right, well, I want to that I can do that. With some of my stuff, I can draw these characters really fast.
Yeah.
And and again, he talks about, like drawing hands and stuff like that. And he's like, well, I could draw fucking sausage fingers, like it doesn't matter, you know.
Right.
And that's kind of where I'm trying to lean more into of I can draw fucking sausage fingers, it doesn't matter, you know.
Hmm.
It yeah, so that's kind of been my thinking, going into it is like let's lean into the more cartoony aspects of my work
Hmm.
to help with the speed, and
Right.
then hopefully I can still have, I mean, shit, the first page on this story I'm doing now, I designed a like mid-century modern, like outside of a house or whatever, looking at different images and stuff. And it's going to be super detailed and a lot of work,
Yeah.
but then I've got pages that's also just people yelling at each other and there's there's nothing going on. Uh, so yeah,
No, yeah, and that's playing to your strengths, and taking all aspects of your production and workflow into account when you're sitting down and planning out your pages.
yeah, yeah.
Which you do really well.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. But
Well, hell yeah!
all
So I'm
right.
excited about the new year,
I am. I am. Yep.
and this is kind of a fun little thing to do, a little experiment.
I thought this was a lot of fun. I
Yeah,
would totally like to do this again. Not a lot of people popping in, but the people that we had popping in, they were interacting, and it was great getting to see comments like live as it happened.
no,
Um,
that's the fun part, and being able to pop in and engage with people and all that kind of cool stuff.
yeah,
Is definitely something I enjoy about watching a live stream
yeah,
and and doing it on the other side is equally as fulfilling.
Well, we our goal usually is to shoot like 2 videos a week.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be a stretch for us to pick one of those days where every once in a while where we do a live stream, you know?
No. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's fun, and I
Yeah,
think with the right occasion, it would definitely be something we'll keep doing.
yeah,
Um, so people circle back. I will say my phone is about to die,
yeah.
so it's been 105 minutes.
That's it? Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
I can see the time. Yeah,
it's flown. It's flown by.
no. Yep.
It is flown by.
All right,
Well,
dude.
take care tonight, man. Keep it out of the ditch.
Yeah. I just gotta go
And
feed some dogs for my friend,
yep,
and that's the extent of the excitement for my day. So,
yeah, I'm being summoned to eat ramen because we're having ramen tonight.
oh, sweet.
Good luck ramen. So,
That'll be fun.
all
All
right,
right,
man.
man. Well, happy New
Well,
Year.
happy New
I'll
Year.
talk to
Happy
you
New Year to
later in the
you.
week. This
You
was
know it.
fun. All right, man.
And we'll see you soon.
Do the damn thing.
Do the damn thing.